video is about the pivot turns in rally. In order to do the pivot turns, your dog needs to have a good understanding of heel position. Your dog will also need to know how to swing their back end around and how to walk backwards. So let's have a quick look at these skills, starting with pivoting. By using a small box or step to anchor our dog's front feet, we can start working on their rear end awareness. One way to start the dog on the turns is to send the dog from a small distance. They will generally turn to face you, and we can click that movement. Again, the dog turns to face me, I can click that back leg movement. This is where a clicker is really helpful. Once the dog has an understanding of how to move their back end around, I can start to do this in the heel position. The other useful skill is backing up. Here, I've positioned my dog between a wall and a puppy pen to make a channel. I step towards and I click any slight movement in the back feet. The next step is to practice the same move in heel position. Again, I can use a wall to guide the dog into the right position. And now we can add these three skills together: heel position, swinging around, and backing up. Now let's have a look at the signs. We're going to start with the 90-degree pivot right and look at some footwork. The pivot involves keeping either a toe or a heel on the ground as we turn. It's your choice as to how you do this, but it is a pivot, not a turn. In the 90-degree right move, the dog is on the outside, so it's fairly straightforward. For the 90-degree pivot left, this is where our rear end awareness skills are really going to kick in. But let's just have a quick look at the footwork. Again, it's a pivot turn, so either my toe or my heel should remain on the ground. And then when we bring the dog into the picture, the dog is going to move around with their back end. Now for the 180-degree pivot right, again, it must be a pivoting foot movement, either a toe pivot or a heel pivot, your choice. That was a toe pivot, and this would be a heel pivot. So again, with this turn, the dog is on the outside, so it's somewhat easier for them, but we still want to make it look as neat as we can. And now the last of the four pivot moves, we've got the 180-degree pivot left. This is where these skills really come into play. Footwork, pivoting, I'm using my toe, but that's optional. And now my dog needs to have a good understanding of how to move backwards out of my way into that sit at heel. Now, you do need to be very mindful of where you position yourself when you're doing this sign. If you start too close to the sign, then when you swing around, there's not going to be room for your dog and they may knock the sign, and that will lose you points. So I hope these tips are helpful, and happy training.